Like you mentioned, Yasu, the target bans here is going to be very important, especially against Umbrella Squad. They have this great strategy of putting an assassin in the mid lane in the hands of Troublemaker. That is something that isn't too foreign in the world of MOBAs, but it's a bit fresh in the minds of the Mobile Legends community. We'll see if they can try and use that to really shut down the whole rotations in the mid lane from the side of KBG.
Well, Gideon, we have actually seen Team KBG come after one short break to be a totally different, like in terms of mindset, they were totally different teams. So after having a day break, do you think that KBG have prepared enough for Team Umbrella Squad?
I think they're going to have a more refined draft this time around. Immediately, I'm seeing that the Matilda is going to get picked up, and I'm presently quite happy. It's like, yes, yes, first pick.
Oh, but I think that there's a lot of supports having attention here at the wildcard, right?
There's a lot of supports for sure. I mean, in day one, you're already hyping up the hospital meta, Yasu, and we're seeing it a lot here. This healing is still such a big value pick, especially when the teams want to go and just brawl like this. Having the ability to just regen back up after a huge fight, and especially for Umbrella Squad right here, it's not just the healing, it's also the mobility. The Matilda can be played defensively, but also aggressively. And if Troublemaker is on an assassin, then the presence of that guiding wind could be something that throws the whole strategy of KBG into the wind.
Well, speaking of defending, Coach Defender is on Umbrella Squad side, and before he was actually a coach, he was a player and he was in international stages. So he does have the experience enough to pass it over to Team Umbrella Squad. And so far they have a really good, I would say, solid draft in terms of like ground control, also the engage and disengage and surprises. But what surprises me the most is that Arlott pick worth taking at the first phase, or like at the first pick, let's say, for KBG.
That's exactly what I was about to mention, man. It's picked very, very early on, along with the Angela. So already just showing their cards, not really confusing the roster of Umbrella Squad. Along with that, though, they have a Fredrin, and this combination right here, Angela, Arlott, and Fredrin, this is a terrifying mid lane, a three-man rotation coming here from the Roamer Jungle mid lane combo. Especially in the early game fights, level 1, level 2, and to a certain degree after level 4 as well. They can do a lot of damage, a lot of combos, and even with the Guiding Wind, you do worry about whether or not the members of Umbrella Squad can really escape from all this damage and all this mobility and crowd control.
But that's under the assumption that they want to fight in the same side of the map, because what I'm seeing here is you've got a pretty independent EXP laner, you've got a gold laner that wants to win. I'm feeling like you just need to win out that mid lane and you've basically got gold for free.
And I see that heading into the second phase of banning, Fanny has joined so fast from the side of KBG, so they might have done their studies and they know that Umbrella Squad's jungler have also like this. I'm not gonna say a weird draft pool, but a wide draft pool, because Troublemaker has surprised us with that Gusion, and maybe, just maybe, actually wait, I have studied Team Umbrella Squad. They are really good at assassins. I'm actually quite surprised why was Fanny like banned in the previous days.
Ooh, I gotta check back on my notes. I'm not quite sure about it.
Yeah.
I think there were some Fanny bans against some of the teams right here. It is a very meta hero by all means, especially in the hands of mechanically sound players. So taking it away from Umbrella Squad with their very skirmish heavy composition and their high speed composition, by the way, is definitely a good idea. But for KBG, what does that mean? Does it mean that they do want to have something vulnerable in the gold lane? Someone that just stays in the back line and outputs that damage, because they're banning 2 assassins.
Well, Mario is a really great player in terms of assassins, and that was what was I actually talking about. Actually, there are some fans supporting Team Umbrella Squad here in the audience, and look, yeah, they are just pointing that out. We are here to fully support Team Umbrella Squad. KBG on the other side, I would say that they have done their homework, because Lancelot and Fanny were some of these picks that Marl made the EECA struggle with.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think they've done some really good work here, especially being on the red side of this draft, right? It's still very, very flexible. You don't know where exactly they're going to be putting a lot of their resources into. It doesn't really give a spearhead, an obvious spearhead to Umbrella Squad.
Ooh, but an Aerithal ban comes in through for Umbrella Squad. So they're concerned about the aggression, but also that combo, man. The high-speed maneuverability. With the Yuzong, the Aerithal does come to mind. But I do feel like with all the tools that they have, the Irithel is slightly weaker here in terms of damage output. So it's a good respect ban. So I feel like for Umbrella Squad, taking that away kind of locks KBG into something less meta, you know, something that can't really hardcore carry. Unless they really want to go for that carry pick, which is something they could... well,
TAA for a reason.
Just like that, man. They go for the carry pick, but I was about to say, it's dangerous against this team that is so good at finding holes in your defense, in your positioning, to find that backline.
Yeah, man, that's crazy how many times you get that picks correct, because ever since I've been actually sharing the desk with Arashi, every time he says something, it just happens. Maybe after casting, he can be a really good coach. So Team KBG have done and have took that carry away, but I was actually mentioning something earlier on in the tournament. After seeing an Angela, I always expect to see either a Claude or an Irithel. So if it wasn't a target ban, I think it was a ban to prevent something really, really dangerous and strong from the side of Team KBG.
It's a tough call on this one because, again, I know Castle is very comfortable on this Terizla overall. I think Umbrella Squad are playing to their strengths. Wow. Okay, so tanks were going to be a problem. No worries. We got an Ultra Scaler here as well in the mid lane.
Wow.
We haven't seen Lunox in a while as well. Are we all the way past that 50 hero mark, 50 unique hero mark? I think we are.
We should.
Or we should be very, very close. But the Lunox, man, it's a very deceptive, strong early game, and against what is possibly an Angela in the mid lane, it's going to win out in the wave clear, it's going to win out in the trading as well. And with a Mathilda Martis, it doesn't really lose out against the Fredrin and the Arlott combo, but maybe they're going to wait till level 4, right? Because they're going to require the Chaos Order to really shred down all these tanky heroes.
Well, I think that the damage output from the side of Team Umbrella Squad is really good in terms of everything, and here joins like, let's say a traditional pick in terms of XP, and we will see Yu Zhong. But here comes the change. Oh wait, there's a lot of changes. Actually, right now, Angela has been the mage, and Arlott is the roamer, right?
Yes. Since the beginning, I was assuming the Arlott is going to be a roamer, because in the EXP lane, it's great, but it's a bit too immobile, in my opinion, right? You lose out in the macro pressure. So I was always assuming that in this really early game meta, I was saying earlier, it's going to be a Fredrin, Arlott, Angela combo going on in the mid lane. So the Yu Zhong was left open. And that Terizla and Yu Zhong matchup is a bit of a skill matchup, but that's definitely a problem for the side of Umbrella Squad. But to be honest, they don't really have that vulnerable backline anyways. The Lunox and the Brody can come in aggressively with the rest of the team to try and go for that all-out team fight.
As the dawn breaks and as the land of fashion, actually, the land of competitiveness and dreams welcome you to its first match of the day, where two giant teams will take us on a marvelous journey. Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be an exciting ride.
It sure is, Yasu. We got Umbrella Squad on the blue side up against KBG on the red side. Now, Arashi, I'm curious to know here. The early game, as we know, coming in from Umbrella Squad, is going to be quite devastating. What can KBG actually do to weather the storm?
Well, I think, in fact, in the early game, level 1, level 2, level 3, KBG has a bit of an inherent advantage. Afterwards, though, level 4, that's where the Lunox damage potential combined with the Martis execute, right? The Martis reset on the decimation. That is something that Keep Best Gaming have to really prevent, because the problem is they're all close range, right? They gotta stay together, and if they really mess up, they can fall victim to the multiple resets. So the hard guard placement also needs to be on point. If you take a look at the emblems right here, basic emblems for the Angela and the carry. They want to just weather out the early game, have all those resources to really just support the team whenever it's required.
Ooh, is that first blood?
No, he's not going to get first blood just yet, but it is very close. However, on Bob's side, we might see first blood here as they're getting dive. Decimate coming in from Marl. Quick, easy dive. Tides looking to look for maybe a trade, but they just do not have enough damage. He might end up being a victim, forcing to flicker out very early on. Blackwash getting some good damage. The Decimate has timed out, and Tides is going to get to live thanks to it.
I saw that flicker being triggered by the carry, but it wasn't enough.
No, it might not just be, because Tides is still getting pressured. Very nice uses of the Vengeance to dash around. And while all of this was happening, Castle ends up dying on the top side.
Simba able to pick up that kill, and he's going for a concussive blast Fredrin jungle. We haven't seen that in quite a while. It might help with the clear and the initial burst damage, but it will tank his regeneration by quite a bit, and also his movement speed, because usually we see a Quantum Charge or an Impure Rage. So for now, it's going to be a sustained game coming in from KBG. They made the first move.
Yep, they've already locked down, but Lunox is able to get on out of there using her iframe. Pulled out by the Guiding Winds. Castle losing the early trade has now resulted in CU coming in huge, solo killing him before he hits level 4. This turtle will fall into the hands of KBG, but they're not done with just the turtle. They want their jungle too. They want to slow down Marl. He's in the middle of everybody, forced to use that retribution. Doesn't lose anything. Nicely played by the Umbrella Squad, but KBG come up on top.
Dominating that turtle area was so precise, so nice executed by Team KBG, but what do you think have the upper hand now? Because I think that the gold is still equal.
So pretty equal, but getting the turtle is definitely a big win for KeepBest Gaming. And this is the thing, man. Level 4, they have a lot more to work with the Martes, with the hard card available. And this Fredrin is very deceptively still meta. I do believe that it's still up there in terms of meta, for sure. The Troublemaker now having a bit of an issue here. The Lunox can function a bit like an assassin, but not just yet. She does need some more items to scale up.
Well, I think that there's something happening cooking at the bot lane, but I don't think they will fully commit to it because it's a little bit hard unless there's a really proper setup. And KBG so far, I can tell you, these guys improve per game.
Per game, indeed. And afterwards, you have to wonder that later on, how will the fights really play out? Because there are no purifies available for both sides. So the team with the better crowd control technically is KeepBest Gaming. They can really start a lot of fights that they really can take on their favor, on their terms. In the top lane, though, this is going to be a big 1v1 matchup, but in the mid lane...
Ooh, Tides almost landing it, but Troublemaker able to get out of there just in time with the help of the Darkening. However, topside, the damage on the castle has not stopped just yet. This might result into another solo kill up on the top side. Castle able to hold out on his own with the help of Fangor and Troublemaker to force CU back out of his lane, chunk down to 20% of his HP.
I can tell you that after studying Team Umbrella Squad, I can assure you that Castle is not just there to defend, he is also there to be the front laner, to be the initiator, but who's initiating right now?
Yeah, Guiding Wind, but gets on out of there, forced to back away. Tides is able to pull him back in towards enemy lines, but again, Guiding Wind just saves the day.
Do you think that KBG will control the turtle area again?
Without the Final Slash, without the Black Dragon form also, by the way, you have to wonder if Umbrella Squad knows that the Black Dragon form is still on cooldown. If they do, they can go in.
And here they go. They've already popped the Heart Guard. Castle, he's deep in the enemy lines, gets pulled away by the Guiding Winds, but he's already used his penalty zone. The Decimate might be coming on through, but Tides is able to stun it off just in time. Not enough. Marl walks away, gets to bring his team along. At the very least, they were able to find one kill, but down on bot side, GodYang holding on to his own. Black Marsh continuing to dominate this lane for as long as it takes.
Yeah, dancing with that, dancing with the Oz, and also dancing with that turtle, and it's a steal.
Oof. Nice steal. Marl gets a kill, and he gets a steal on top of that. Is it his birthday or something?
I don't know, man. Marl is on fire right now. And look at the rotations, man. Umbrella Squad is always so proactive. And unfortunately for KeepBest Gaming, they don't even get that turtle. So they're not really using the Angela macro presence to really make a lot of plays happen. And they're really not saving their ultimates for the big fight at the turtle. They should be trying to play in a bit more calculated fashion. And for Umbrella Squad, they gotta keep doing what they're doing. Push the tempo and try and burn these ultimates before the big fight so it can't all be stacked in one decisive victory for KeepBest Gaming.
Well, trusting Castle since day one was and still Umbrella Squad's strategy, and also one of their most important points, they wait to Castle to give the order to initiate or to go back, because we are used to know that, of course, Matilda would do that job, but Castle actually carries so much damage and carries so much of the initiations and D.
Speaking of initiations, we've already gotten the ult come out of Fangor. Guiding Winds to pull Castle away. Matilda Airlines got to get cancelled early, but Tides decides to go back in. Penalty zone gets cancelled out in the meantime, thanks to the help of the Motor Coils, and now the Decimate is going to lock it out. Troublemaker secures the kill. Marl does not want to get another kill stolen, is able to get these 2 kills for free.
Marl, man, just going all in right here. The Martyrs pick is coming out super value for Keep Best Gaming. This is the problem. They're all close range, and for now, the Angela just isn't ahead enough. And look at his burst damage. They're going in.
Yep,
Wait.
they dived, and now Simba might be in a lot of trouble. Gets pulled back out. He's 2 levels down. They find the kill, and they give it over to Troublemaker. Nicely done by the Umbrella Squad. As Tier 1 falls, Castle does not land the penalty zone. Tides jumps on in to instigate the fight. Brilliance also popped up. Is this an opportunity for CU to make the difference with the Black Dragon Form? Finding in the middle of 3 so far. Petrify not available. Gal already uses it. Doesn't catch anybody with Black Dragon Tail. And now CU must sustain. Tides must buy some time. And Lumu is out of there. Can't do no more with 2 kills secured by the Umbrella Squad.
Marl is a maniac. This guy is just getting in and getting so up to the challenge. Multiple kills for the side of Team Umbrella. Just the last touch for the Marl. And so far, what made Team Umbrella in command of this match?
Is the speed and the way they can just go in and out of fights very reliably. Keep Best Gaming are relying on a full-on committed team fight to really win it out. That's why they have all the crowd control, all the bodies in the front, and the carry. But when Umbrella Squad comes in, does damage, and then back away, and then re-engage, Keep Best Gaming have no idea when to use their ultimates. And eventually they just keep falling down. Looking at the items, they have to seize, and the Malefic were completed for Black March. So even after Troublemaker gets dealt with in the big fight, Black March can still very much carry this game.
Well, I always admire the pick of, I'm not going to say Troublemaker, especially like the player himself, but the Lunox. So Lunox is actually one of those picks that helps you get that turtle, and also the Lord super fast, melts tanky heroes down, even squish heroes with that Dark Light combo. So I think that at this point, Team Umbrella Squad has nothing to prevent them from finishing the game just with 1 Lord.
Well, the Lord is coming in, but the waves don't really seem to be set up. Seems like Umbrella Squad are content going for just fights and possibly a dive right here. With the Mathilda, that's not really that difficult of an issue, but we'll have to see, man. The wave clear coming in from Keep Best Gaming, no mage damage. Oh, it's going to be an Angela with the healing wave, trying to clear as best as possible.
I mean, it's only the combo form. So comes in with a penalty zone flicker. Godyak tries to get back out of there, and the hard card has been Yu trying to disengage. But no, Torn Apart Memories doesn't lock him down. That love taps coming in for Lulu saves his life, but it's still going to be Black Marsh who takes him out with 4 members still left. Can they break open this crystal? They decide not to. They're going to go for the safe play. Take out inhibitor by inhibitor. His castle is already initiated. He's got nothing left, and they've been pulled back by the final slash. Simba needs to reset. Tides is in too deep, and God Yang has to run for his life. Umbrella Squad takes the early game and takes the game.
9 minutes?
Might be one of the fastest games we've seen in the wildcard series so far. It came out of nowhere, man. The penalty zone, the awareness from Umbrella Squad to avoid the crowd control and the damage and come back in when it's most suited for them. It was a great performance, great showing. And KBG, they were just unprepared, man. They just got caught completely off guard.
Honestly, I think KBG felt a little awkward playing against the Lunox in the early stages of the game. And I mean, again, the Brilliance was used so early on trying to gank and push out Troublemaker that they weren't able to get their resources back down into the gold. It's stressful. It has to be stressful.
Well, it does have to be stressful because right now we are in an international stage, and right now we are seeing international picks being brought to you from all around the world. Wild picks for a wild card. M5 will witness so great, or like a lot of great teams coming up to it. So I would actually say that the teams that will come here, like the teams, because there's not just one chance for a team to have a second chance, but there's 2 tickets going to the M5. So those wild card tickets, I think they will cause mayhem in the M5 itself.
I think so. In some measure, they're going to be forced to play some meta picks, but I think the irregular picks right here can have a lot of value as well. Let's take a look at the MVP brought to you by the Republic of Gamers. It's your boy Fangor on the Mathilda with 100% kill participation. And in that last fight, I thought he was done. He was finally going to get taken out. He just slides out of there. No sweat.
No sweats whatsoever. And honestly, looking at his player camp, he was communicating a lot with his team to see what plays are actually available when they are moving in for these fights. And I think it's great that Umbrella Squad have a lot of confidence in themselves when they have the lead. This is their comfort zone. They're going to initiate, they're going to get something out of you, and once you're out of resources, they clap back.
Well, speaking of value, the most valuable player right now, I think it's well-deserved. Whenever he initiates or disengages, this guy is a genius.
Well, that's why the Mathilda pick is just so beneficial right here, particularly against the composition of KBG. The pressure is on them to really find that great initiation and maybe bait out the guiding wind first and then go for a big play. But Fangor knows that. It really seems that he really understands how these fights are going to break out. That's partially due to their wild style. So whenever the fights are beginning, he very adeptly just waits in the background, and every single time a big ultimate like the Final Slash or the Black Dragon form is used, he's just completely ready with the guiding wind, always on the right moment, the worst moment for KBG.
Well, but that's a 100% kill participation, right?
It's 100% kill participation. That's exactly it. Because in these big fights, he's always available to just give in the mobility, the shielding as well. And
Yeah.
that's what is being abused by Umbrella Squad. If you look at these fights, it's always the movement here that makes it so difficult. Because the combos are available for KBG, but they can never get Umbrella Squad to be in the right place at the right time for them.
I feel like KBG in these scenarios, right, they know what to do when it comes down to, oh, let's go down for a turtle fight, let's go down towards Lord side. But once things start slipping through their fingers, playing from behind is actually quite difficult because Mobile Legends is a game that's always coming at a fast pace. To stop a snowball would require you to make some significant plays, and that's why I think just the inexperience of playing against the Lunox can be a little difficult because the Brilliance is a good way to play around iframes, and even when you are trying to bait it out, Fangor can be that secondary fallback.
And this is the problem with the draft of KBG as well. They can't really get the right place at the right time, technically, also due to how things are moving around right here. Because for, like you mentioned, Gideon, it's just too much at the same time, technically. There's just so many ultimates that are flying around, especially in the early game, against a Martis and a Lunox. If they start really snowballing, there's so much immunity, damage reduction, that to really capitalize on a bad play, it's a bit too difficult for KBG to do without maybe doing some mind games to really trap them.
I mean, I feel like the mind games is difficult to play as well, right? Because again, I do agree with you that there has been an overuse of abilities, especially when you start to see the use of the Heart Guard in particular coming in from Lumo. When you are walking up to the turtle, they pop it really early on. They're not holding it as a tool. They want to say, this is what we want to do right now, and it feels like they wear their hearts on their sleeves. They're very transparent.
Well, do you think that, like, at some point it was the Draft's fault for Team KBG to lose?
I think KBG has potential right there, but the communication and the coordination is also a big problem. We saw, like, in the bottom side earlier, there was a big fight where afterwards, I think Simba and CU were trying to go in, Tides as well. They're all very all in, so they went in right there, but God Yang wasn't coming with them. So if they really want to go all in, they have to know, as a whole team, right, when the fight is going to happen, when it's time to back off. Because if they back off not together, one by one, that's also leaving a lot of opportunities for Umbrella Squad to really pick them off one by one. Because if you look at their damage, right, the Brody and the Lunox does have a lot of teamfight presence, but for the most part, it's a lot of burst single target damage.
If that is the case, I mean, the Heart Guard should have been the answer. Is this one of those situations where it is a breakdown in communications, or is it just a lack of mechanics?
I think there's a bit of both, right? There's a lack of mechanics. Obviously, knowing the interactions between heroes is going to be a big part of looking for that outplay. But the communication, like I said, could be a lot better. Sometimes the usage of the crowd control from KBG is kind of overlapping as well. And in this kind of composition that where the crowd control is generally the ultimate, you want to be a bit thrifty and a bit more